Now, shocking news has been released, and there are brand new requirements that people have to meet in order to receive an extra stimulus check. But some of you guys may not be eligible to receive this stimulus payment. About 23 million Californians will get a boost of $200 to $1,050 thanks to a new round of payments approved by state lawmakers. But the payments aimed at mitigating higher prices for gas and other goods will leave out lots of low-income Californians. Among those passed over are some seniors, many living on disability benefits, and some seniors of the lowest income adults. That's because the direct deposits and debit cards, which are expected to begin arriving in late October and conclude next year in January, will be sent based out on tax returns. About 3 million Californians are in families that earn little enough that they aren't required to file taxes. Experts have estimated the poverty rate among people who live in families that don't need to file taxes is 60%. Neither the State Department or Finance or the Franchise Tax Board, which is responsible for collecting state personal income in California, knew exactly how many Californians would be left out of the rebate. The legislature wanted to create a program to send payments to people who don't file taxes and are not enrolled in safety net programs that received a boost in the budget. But after negotiations with Newsom, the proposal didn't make it into the final budget. H.D. Palmer, our spokesperson for the Department of Finance, said that he couldn't offer specifics on why the proposal didn't make it into the final budget, but that proposals from both sides didn't make it into the compromise. And now the U.S. Department of Agriculture aims to expand the number of retailers that offer online shopping for the SNAP program benefits through a $5 million competitive grant that is currently seeking applications. The SNAP Modernization Technical Assistance Center grant will fund an organization that can provide online shopping technology and system support to retailers. The aim is to give SNAP participants access to a broader selection of retailers while shopping for groceries.
On USICA, the American Competes Act. In the first year under President Biden and the Senate Democratic majority, America saw its strongest economic growth in decades, including increases in wages. Very, very important to the American people who have not seen enough of that over the last 2 decades. And this week, Congress is taking a major step to build on that success by advancing legislation that will help lower costs, relieve U.S. supply chains, and bring manufacturing back to the United States. Over the next 2 days, the House will debate and vote to pass a companion bill to the Senate's U.S. Innovation and Competition Act, which we approved last summer, of course, with strong bipartisan support. I'm pleased the House is taking this important step. I've been pushing for months for progress on this legislation to strengthen supply chains and boost our technological competitiveness. Senators from both sides of the aisle want to see a competition and technology bill finally enacted. After this week, we will hopefully be one step closer to achieving that goal. Americans are demanding bold solutions to help lower the cost of living, and businesses from coast to coast need help to relieve supply chains strained by the pandemic. Legislation along the lines of USICA is just what the doctor ordered. It would provide the long-term help our country needs to lower costs and help businesses grow right here at home. Jobs here in America, not overseas. One of the best examples of why this bill is needed is our nation's dangerous chip shortage. The shortage has sent shockwaves across the economy, hamstringing the production of everything from cars, cell phones, refrigerators, medical devices, equipment used by our military. It has increased the costs of all of those items, and American families are paying for those costs. USICA would help relieve them and make sure these supply chain bottlenecks are relieved. Our proposal would provide $52 billion.
Half of the increase in the CPI was due to rising gas prices in March, and the Biden administration had been expecting a bad CPI number. Jen Psaki said yesterday, "We expect March CPI headline inflation to be extraordinary due to the crisis." And Biden said, "I'm doing everything within my power by executive orders to bring down the price and address the crisis price hikes." In fact, we've already made progress since March. Inflation data was collected. Biden has noted that the authorization of E15 gasoline in the country will help some people, even if it's an extra $1 or $2 in the pockets when they fill up their gas. President Biden will label his American Rescue Plan as one of the brighter points of his first term in office. It will, with it providing American families with an element of fiscal relief during the difficult times. One part of the rescue plan was the Homeowner Stimulus Relief Program, which was designed to help families continue to pay their mortgages, but at a reduced rate while employment was hugely impacted by the crisis. There are several programs that are providing relief right now to homeowners. Homeowners have experienced income loss in the course of the crisis, and while some have recovered from the events over the past 2 years, other homeowners might still be struggling to keep up with their housing payments, especially in light of recent inflation. The good news is that there's still relief available for homeowners who are struggling to pay for household expenses, and some homeowners could be eligible for as much as $80,000 in aid. So while certain protections like mortgage forbearance have run out in some states, there's still some available aid for property owners thanks to the Homeowner Assistance Fund. That fund is a good $10 billion available to pay for homeowners who are behind on their mortgages and other housing-related expenses. As was the case with the rental assistance funds, money from the Homeowner Assistance Fund will be given out at the state level, but eligible recipients will be in line for anywhere from $15,000 to $80,000. That money can cover expenses including mortgage payments, property tax bills, homeowners insurance fees, HOA fees, and a couple more things. To qualify for aid under the program, homeowners will need to show they experience financial hardships. So folks, this is definitely a good idea from President Biden to do more for the American people that are in need of 4 stimulus checks. If you guys agree, tell me in the comments down below. So everybody, consumer price inflation in March is expected to have spiked the most since December 1981. Driven by higher food costs, rising rents, and runaway energy prices. The Consumer Price Index will be released this week, and economists expect a monthly jump of 1.1% and a year-over-year gain of 8.4%. That compares with February's increase of 0.8%, the highest increase since early 1982. And according to AAA, gasoline prices also recently surged, reaching a national average of $4.33 per gallon. But the Federal Reserve is expected to tighten its policy aggressively to rein in the highest inflation in 4 decades. Markets expect a half-point hike in May, and economists say a hot inflation report could also bring a half-point hike in June. The Fed first raised interest rates by a quarter point in March after cutting the Fed funds largest rate to 0 in early 2020. But the biggest question now is whether central bank officials can successfully tame inflation and stabilize prices without triggering an economic recession. And for some legislation that is being negotiated on right now, lawmakers have been considering guaranteed income programs this year. However, these programs are distinct from stimulus checks as they provide payments each month over an extended period of time. The concept of offering Americans a basic or guaranteed income moved even more prominently into 2020. Since then, a number of cities across the country have been trying their own versions of the universal basic income, like in the city of New Jersey, like in the city of Newark, New Jersey, which recently expanded a basic income program there to 400 residents. Each of the recipients is getting a total of $12,000 over 2 years,